My mother-in-law tried to break me, so I let her show everyone who she really was. When I married Adrian, I knew his mother didn't like me, but I didn't realize how far she would go to make sure I didn't last. Her name was Celeste, and from the moment we met, she treated me with a kind of polite coldness that never quite crossed the line but always made me feel like I didn't belong. The first time Adrian introduced us, she smiled and said, "You're sweet," with just enough hesitation to make it feel like an insult. At the beginning, I tried everything. I brought her gifts, helped in the kitchen, complimented her cooking, and made an effort to be involved in family gatherings. I wanted her to like me. I wanted to feel accepted in the family I had just married into. But nothing I did seemed to matter. There was always something wrong, something lacking. Her comments started small, almost harmless on the surface. She would say things like, "Oh, you don't cook much, do you? Adrian used to love my nails." Or, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" It's a bit tight. She always said it with a smile, often in front of others, so if I reacted, I would look like the problem. Whenever I brought it up to Adrian, he would brush it off and say, "That's just how she is. Don't take it personally," so I didn't, at least not right away. After the wedding, her behavior became more intrusive. She started showing up at our apartment unannounced, letting herself in with the spare key Adrian had given her just in case. At first, it was occasional, but soon it became frequent. I would come home and find her rearranging things, opening cabinets, or making subtle remarks about how I kept the house. She would question how I organized the kitchen, comment on the laundry, and even criticize what Adrian was eating, as if I wasn't taking proper care of him. One day, I walked in to find her cooking in my kitchen, using my groceries and throwing out items she didn't approve of. When I asked what she was doing, she simply said, "I'm helping," as if that gave her the right to take over. I tried to talk to Adrian about it, but he insisted she meant well and just wanted to take care of us. That was when I realized it wasn't about us, it was about maintaining control over him, and by extension, over our life. Over time, her constant criticism began to affect how Adrian saw me. She would point out things that weren't even problems, dust that wasn't there, minor imperfections, and slowly, he started noticing them too. Suddenly, I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't cooking enough, cleaning enough, or being the kind of wife she thought he deserved. She even began having concerned conversations with him within earshot, suggesting that I wasn't naturally nurturing and that marriage might be difficult because of it. I remember standing in the hallway one evening, listening to her question my role in his life, waiting for him to defend me. He didn't. That moment hurt more than anything she had ever said directly to me. The breaking point came during a dinner we hosted for some of Adrian's relatives. I had spent the entire day preparing, determined to create a perfect evening with nothing she could criticize. At first, everything seemed to go well. People were enjoying the food, complimenting the atmosphere, and for a brief moment, I felt proud of myself. Then Celeste spoke. She smiled and said the food was lovely, but immediately followed it with a comment about how it tasted practiced, as if I had simply followed a recipe rather than cooking from the heart. She went on to remind everyone that Adrian had always preferred her cooking, and he laughed along with her. That was the moment something shifted inside me. I realized that no amount of effort would ever be enough because this was never about me improving. It was about her maintaining a sense of superiority and control. From that point on, I stopped trying to win her approval and started observing her more carefully. I noticed how she behaved differently depending on who was around, how she planted ideas in Adrian's mind, and how she masked her criticisms as concern. Instead of confronting her immediately, I changed my approach. I stopped reacting. When she criticized me, I didn't defend myself. When she rearranged things, I left them as they were. When she made remarks, I let them sit in the air without engaging. At first, she seemed pleased, as if she had finally worn me down. But then she grew bolder, more open with her comments, more confident that there would be no consequences. That confidence was exactly what led to her undoing. At another family gathering, surrounded by relatives and friends, she once again directed her attention toward me. In a sweet but pointed tone, she said she sometimes wondered if I truly understood what it took to be part of their family. In the past, I would have laughed it off or changed the subject, but this time, I stayed calm. I looked at her and told her that I believed being part of a family meant respect and support, not undermining others behind their backs. The room went silent. She was clearly caught off guard and tried to brush it off, accusing me of being overly sensitive. But I didn't back down. I explained that I had spent months trying to earn her approval, only to realize that it would never happen. Because the issue was never about me being good enough. It was about control. For the first time, people weren't just hearing her words. They were seeing the pattern behind them. The tension, the subtle japs, the way she positioned herself, all of it became visible. She struggled to respond, and before she could regain control of the situation, Adrian spoke up. He said quietly but firmly that I was right. That moment changed everything. Not because of what I said, but because he finally saw it too. Celeste left shortly after, clearly upset, claiming she would not tolerate being disrespected. But the dynamic had shifted. The illusion she had carefully maintained began to crack, and the people around us started to understand what had been happening all along. In the weeks that followed, her behavior changed. She stopped showing up unannounced and became more cautious with her words. Adrian, for his part, began setting boundaries and paying closer attention to how I was treated. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was progress. Looking back, I realized that the most powerful thing I did wasn't confronting her. It was refusing to keep playing the role she had assigned to me. I stopped trying to prove my worth to someone who had already decided. I didn't have any. Instead, I let her actions speak for themselves. In the end, the best revenge wasn't about tearing her down. It was about stepping back and allowing everyone else to see the truth. She had been hiding all along.